Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finale of Shadow Generations. It's time to take the fight to Black Doom. So, what do we think about this boss fight? I mean, it's okay, I think, especially the final music track that I like a lot. So,
Just a remark on the start, I like the entry point being the top of this like giant vortex you've been looking at the entire game. It reminds me of like entering the Stormwind arc in Tears of the Kingdom where you have to climb to the top of that goddamn tornado and enter from the top. It's just that kind of epic feeling. I like that. It's a lot more interesting than the boss itself, I'm sure, because it's Black Doom, and Black Doom has about as much depth and complexity in his character as his name implies.
So by comparison's sake, I would say just comparing this to the original Shadow 05 fight, which is dreadful, and the Time Eater fight, which is also dreadful, this fight's pretty fantastic. I have a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, I think comparatively speaking, if we're keeping within the same game, this is miles better than Time Eater. But it's funny. It's like we're heading into this scene and we're talking with Black Doom before we start throwing down. There was a part of me that was still thinking, I was like, I'm waiting for the gotcha moment, like where it's not actually Black Doom. Even though at this point it's clearly established, no, it's just him. Like, he's just back. Like, he didn't die. Like in Shadow the Hedgehog, he's just back. But a part of me was just kind of thinking, I was like, all right, this is the twist where it's actually just like the Time Eater or some other thing, or maybe it's Neo Metal Sonic doing the copy thing again. But no, it's just Black Doom again. He's just here.
I'm surprised they just straight up went with the Devil Doom design from the original game too, as the boss design.
There was never anything wrong with Black Doom's aesthetic design. For what he is, it's probably perfect. I mean, it's not the most terrifying alien abomination you can imagine, but it's not supposed to be. It's a Sonic the Hedgehog game. If it went that
this
route,
version
it would
definitely
be
looks
overkill.
a lot cooler than the original. I will say, it's more undulaty-y and gross looking.
Yeah, it's in the same sense that I think the Bio Lizard looked cooler as well. The Bio Lizard had a lot of that going on, and more than this one. He had those disturbing as fuck like gills in the side, and the way he snapped his jaws kind of unsettled me too.
The problem with Black Doom, because he doesn't necessarily even need to be a particularly deep villain for what he is. Like, there's just no presence to him, you know? Like, you can have a good mustache-twirlingly evil bad guy if he's got the Riz. I'm told by my notes to call it the Riz.
I don't necessarily think that the Riz is what Black Doom needed. I just think...
Guys, stop saying Riz. You guys can't.
I'm saying it ironically. Ted over here was the one bringing the word up.
I need to connect with the youths. All right.
Look, okay, I don't necessarily think that Black Doom needs charisma or presence. I think what he needs is to lean into that eldritch nature he's got going on but never taps into because the writers just don't see it for some reason. Like, he could be like a genuinely Lovecraftian villain, and in fact that would fit with him being like the genetic template from which Shadow and the Bio Lizard or the Bio Lizard, whichever, it's not clear, were made.
I love that Shadow just gives him happy slaps. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what
I just love that the fight is going up to him and pa 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 pa.
What about, I think I said it earlier in the commentary, but like one of the first minds I ever hope to run into is just someone taking those happy slaps and actually making them like happy slaps. Like, so you get up to the eye and all you hear is like about as uneventful as it sounds.
Sonic characters doing melee attacks will never not be funny.
I think the thing about it is that like the Devil Doom aspect of it is that, and Gerald mentions in the custom earlier, he made a Faustian deal. Like, making a deal with the devil is supposed to happen because what he's offering you is tempting. Like, you know that this person's bad news, but you're going to go with it anyway because, you can't help yourself.
Gerald needed the ultimate life form as a component for the cure he needed for Maria.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean is that element of I have something you want, you should come with me and take it. Like, the element of that from the original Shadow is supposed to be, I'm going to tell you the truth about your past. The thing about it as players is that we don't trust him, A, because his name's Black Doom, and B, we know what Shadow's past is.
Well,
So
I mean,
he has nothing.
His name's Black Doom, but our name's Shadow, so
Yeah.
you know.
So it's like the devil goes down to Georgia, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna offer you this golden fiddle. It's like, cool. I already have a platinum electric guitar, so I'm cool. Thanks. That's what's going on here. Oh, Neo Devil Doom. Oh, he's even edgier and he's even more phallic looking. Oh man.
Also, we have a remix
Hail
of
Shadow
Shadow.
kicks in.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
mean phallic? He looks like a Venus flytrap, is what he looks like.
I'm looking at the thing behind him with the.
What thing?
Oh, okay. Thanks for blocking my view of the. Okay, thanks.
One of the multiple goddamn tentacle dragons that seems to be erupting from this amorphous mass. You see, this is why I say
You
he
can't
should be
say
more.
the word tentacle dragon and not have that be phallic, dude. Come on.
Yeah, you can. It's just a tentacle dragon, but like you know.
All right, whatever.
The thing I'm trying to point out though is that like this appearance leans even more into the eldritch side of things, you know.
Yeah.
And like if his character and presentation had ever leaned into that too, he would probably be pretty interesting, because then, you know, the appeal is that you're not really supposed to comprehend him. He's just terrifying on that level. But that's not what we get with Black Doom.
Were you thinking of something more like, and I'm sorry, this is like the first thing that immediately comes to mind. Are you thinking of something like more like Gygas, like Earthbound? Like it's like a cosmic horror that you really can't comprehend.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously he needs to be able to
right?
communicate if he's going to make a deal
Right.
with Gerald Robotnik and stuff. But at that point, you have to avoid the mustache twirling, you know? Otherwise,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. Those are two fundamentally incompatible versions of evil. Mustache twirling evil is supposed to be easy to understand. That's what makes it compelling. That it's just like easy to immediately connect with and despise. That's not what Black Doom should have been in the first place, and it's not. It didn't work with the story being told in that game. It doesn't even work with the story being told here. He really should be the incomprehensible cosmic horror, because he's an incomprehensible looking horror that comes from the cosmos. It writes itself. I'm not sure why they didn't do that.
I think they wanted him to have an army and be an alien overlord, which leans into the other, makes him too human. Is the thing?
Not
you know?
necessarily, because even in the most schlocky movies, sometimes the alien overlords do lean into that kind of incomprehensible horror. Even Independence Day did that much. You know, you never understand those fucking aliens. Like, the most you understand is that maybe they desire humans as food. Maybe they desire our resources. Maybe
Their technology is easily hackable through an Apple laptop.
Yeah, well, you know, technology is technology.
Yeah, I'd say
is
Steve
not the
Jobs is
alien
really ahead of the
themselves.
curve on that one.
I'm not really sure how the movie got away with that. I don't even think it fully did, because, you know, it's schlock. But
It's a summer blockbuster schlock film. Yeah, it's like they do
Yeah.
not care. Yeah.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Earth. Pow.
it's like if
Wow.
we were to capture alien technology that was that far ahead of our own time, we might be able to hijack it and hack it eventually, but it would take us time to make that work, you know.
Yeah. I'll be the first to say that I would have liked some mix of I Am All of Me from Shadow. However, I do think All Hail Shadow fits this battle perfectly. Like, to me, if you're going to choose a theme for like the final toccata, it needs to be All Hail Shadow, and it's specifically the Crush 41, because that is the better one.
I realize that in the context of this game, this complaint doesn't hold a whole lot of water, because it's a nostalgia game. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But like, I've grown to dislike the fucking butt rock a lot over the years.
From like starting with SA1, you mean?
All of them, fucking all of them, except maybe Frontiers, but that's less butt rock and more just, you know, generally.
Fuck away the pain. Your sheets in ruins.
Yeah.
Definitely requires a certain mindset and mood. Like I don't listen to like Live and Learn in the car, when I'm driving. It's not something I go out of my way to listen to.
I've gotten to the point where I have an easier time listening to music that I've always never really enjoyed, like the Beatles, because it's just not my style, which is older, than music I used to like, which like most of the Sonic vocals, but don't now. And it confuses my brain to consider it, because like, how can I have an easier time listening to older music that I never really liked much than slightly old music that I used to really love? How does that work? What changed in my brain stuff?
And I apologize, like I'm not entirely absorbing everything, but I think context is also important too. Because I love the butt rock stuff of Sonic Adventure and beyond, but I'll also admit that I enjoy it more in the context, like when I listen to it in game, and that sort of thing, like as a final boss or as a character theme when the credits are rolling and what have you. I love them in that sense.
But isn't like that the kind of music that everyone is always complaining about in video game reviews? I can't hum this music. I can't listen to this on my MP3 player. It's not catchy enough.
That's always been subjective, though.
Yeah, but it's like there's this whole discourse. There's this whole case in the discourse where, like, if that's the only thing your music does for you, then it's bad video game music because it's not catchy and it doesn't have the melodies or something. And
well,
I'm just
I think that's an unnuanced take. I think because music doesn't have to be catchy to be good. Like, music can be, music is context sensitive. It depends on what it's being used for, especially in the video game. But in this instance, I would say that that I think it's fine to need to be in a certain mood to want to listen to certain music. Like, if you're only ever in the mood to listen to Sonic Crush 40 music while playing Sonic and in the final boss, if it hits the mood and hits the tone while you're in that fight and it makes it better for you, then I would say it's enjoyable.
That's also kind of the thing, though, is because that I'm never in the mood even when I'm playing these games anymore,
And that also
it just sounds like you've outgrown it. That's all.
Yeah,
I think it's just taking music tastes have changed as you've gotten older.
I listen to It Doesn't Matter, and I just feel like, wow, this sounds old.
Well, it is old.
This in the 2000s, this music was trying to channel Sonic's youthful energy. It was trying to channel something that like all the teenagers and all the preteens would get really excited for. And when you think of Sonic, you don't want that to go away. People would be like, "No, you have to keep the butt rock. You have to keep it. That's Sonic."
It's just like, though, the only other thing outside of video games that I ever feel this way about in terms of music is Linkin Park, which I also used to like. I wasn't super big on it, but I enjoyed listening to it when it came on in the radio.
Sure, but there's a lot of adults who would say that Linkin Park is also more for teenagers, and they outgrew that too.
But I also liked that at the time, and there was a lot of stuff that was for teenagers at the time that I still really like today, and I'm not sure what made, like, I can't put my finger on what about it I don't like now is the thing that bothers me. Oh no,
I don't think that's something you can pinpoint. I think it's just the little nuanceical developments you develop as you grow older that shift.
I listen to Anamanaguchi in the car, which is 8-bit chiptune mixed with rock and roll, and I wouldn't play it with my parents, but I'll certainly play it by myself,
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, that's all that really.
Anamanaguchi.
Yeah, I don't worry or care about thinking about, can I play this in a car? Can I play this out loud in my living room? That sort of thing. It's like I listen to music for me.
Okay. This scene, I kind of spoiled myself on this scene between sessions, and I just want to say this one hit me. Like, this one actually hit me.
This is a great ending. I love it.
It is. Yeah.
I agree.
And then Shadow just gets warped to Sonic's birthday after this, and he has to hang around. And as a socially awkward introvert, that hit me harder than the rest of it for some reason.
Sonic and friends are celebrating what a great adventure they had, all this nostalgia, and Shadow's having a fucking midlife crisis.
Hey, he's 50. It's about time.
Yeah. The last thing we see is this Shadow going to getting a Lamborghini to fill
Why
the
do you
void in
think
his
he
heart.
bought the motorcycle?
Is he 50 though? Does it count when you spent 50 years in suspended animation? Doesn't that like keep your age the same? Or is Link over 100? Are we gonna say that Link is 120 now?
That
I
would
mean,
be
he is.
terrible if Shadow was conscious that whole time.
He spit on me.
That's part of. I mean, this was a headcanon, but I always thought that Shadow was at least sort of conscious during that whole thing, because you don't grow to have that much, like, to have your mind be warped that bad. If you're not at least somewhat aware of what the hell's going on.
Well, he didn't grow to have his mind be warped that bad. He was reprogrammed while he was in stasis.
But he was shot down to Earth. My thought was that he was always he was found, and then
he was found while he was in stasis and stored away
by Gerald,
by Gunn
But then I thought that
on
Gerald
Prison Island, where Gerald was imprisoned.
Yeah, but I thought that Gerald needs time to fuck with his head, though. Like,
So I was going to say, Gerald's journal is in this game, and the journal does a lot of filling in the blanks that a lot of the games might have asked questions about, like revolving like Emerald and involving this, where like there are additional entries that explain that like he did temper with the space colony arc after Maria died because they still put him back to work after the incident happened.
Yeah.
And this is where he tampers with Shadow and tampers with the canon and makes his whole doomsday plan. So like there are additional entries that at least explain how these two things can happen, where Maria dies, he goes crazy, and then he creates this evil plan. And how did he have access to that? Why wasn't he arrested? Well, the journal goes into it.
I'm sure the journal clears up some of it.
They had him in a sort of Sokolov situation.
Yeah, but it's just that I would go crazy too if they killed my granddaughter and then forced me to keep working for them. After
I know.
Gun
I love
sucks.
the journal because it's so modernly written. Everything about it is so new and trying to fill in all these gaps. But the last entry is, of course, what was in Sonic Adventure 2, just word for word exactly what it was in that cutscene.
Yeah.
Gun sucks. Damn. Why does Shadow work for them now? Do they ever go into that? Why like Shadow chooses to still hang around?
It's because he's in better relations with the commander.
Yeah.
I think that's literally the only reason. It's because he's in better relations with the gun commander.
He and the commander had a common ground in that they both were seeking revenge for the same thing, you know? So once they cleared the air between them, it was easy for Shadow to empathize with the commander. You know.
Still, do you work for the organization that was responsible for your life going so fucking south?
Well, you know, I want to say Shadow from the very beginning was never averse to working with someone he didn't respect and just, you know, doing stuff behind their back for his own reasons. It could be that he's working for Gunn partly to keep an eye on them so that shit like this doesn't happen.
Abe, I'm just not cut out for this. I'm going to go back to the Aldis.
I mean, it's clear that Shadow respects, at least to some extent, Eggman.
He's also friends with, you know, Rouge, who works with Gunn regularly, so there's that.
That's fair, yeah, but, like, Shadow, you are right in that. Shadow, I don't think, respected Rouge at the beginning. It's actually clear that he doesn't respect Rouge.
No, everything and everyone originally was a means to an end.
I think his respect for Rouge comes specifically from Sonic Heroes, because she's the one who found him and kept him and Omega from killing each other and gave them a goal and, you know, got him on his feet in the beginning. They made friends with each other then. He didn't actually get his memories of Sonic Adventure 2 back until well after that, come to think of it. So, you know, amnesia is a hell of a plot tool.
Thank God it didn't come back.
I just like that in the 72 hours Shadow's awake before he dies in Sonic Adventure 2, he gets to look up who the famous jewel thieves of the world are and say, oh, you're that famous jewel thief, Rouge the Bad, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think, you know, that line always came off to me as him. No, he says, "You're that famous spy." I think is what
you're that government spy, Rouge the Bad.
I think he was bluffing, I think he was honestly bluffing. Like, he guessed that she was a government spy and happened to be right.
I think it was just bad translation.
It might be bad translation. Yeah. I think the original line was probably something like, "I think."
Like, honestly, but
spy.
isn't that kind of like enticing though? Because we were talking about the aspect of Adventure 1 and Adventure 2, like getting properly remade, and I would hopefully that would come with a better localization of the script.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to see a better translation of the script, because I know, like especially if you have very fond memories of the original, the idea of the script being retranslated or relocalized, mine's like, no, it has to be exactly the same as before. It was like the script wasn't very good in SA2.
There's iconic lines in SA2 that they should keep.
No.
But
yes, absolutely.
No, those iconic lines are jank as shit.
They're not. You're jank as shit. You know what? I'm going to go to your house. I'm going to open the door and I'm going to tear you out in your fucking face.
Every time that one. Every time I hear Teria or Sayonara Shadow the Hedgehog, I cringe. Why would Maria say Sayonara? What sense does that make as dialogue for that character?
I'm not saying they should keep Teria
containing the ultimate power.
But they definitely
there's more justification for Sonic saying Teria, because he's just a shit. He would do that.
I'm more saying that if they changed "I found you, Faker," or "You're not even good enough to be my fake," I would.
What
go
I
up to
would
Sega
like to
and
see
say,
them
"Please
do
don't
is
change it back."
bring back the original English script and use that as a basis, because that would be interesting to see brought to life, instead of this translated to Japanese and then translated back nonsense.
I think that you should. Honor, if you're remaking the script for Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. You should. I obviously take old ideas that didn't make it into the game into consideration, but you're remaking what people originally saw and what people have a connection to, which is the finished product. So
should Claire Redfield have sounded like a goddamn robot when she was talking to Sherry Birkin then?
No, I'm not saying that the entire script should be the same, but if they change "I found you, Faker," and "You're not even good enough to be my fake," those are like
they changed all the iconic lines.
I think if they were to relocalize or give it a new script for nostalgia's sake, because let's be clear, they would do exactly that. They would keep the more iconic lines in.
They do that in lots of different.
I mean, they did it in the cutscene earlier where it was just, "I found you, Shadow, that blue hedgehog again, of all places."
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that sounded forced, to be honest, but
I mean, it is forced. It's forced because it's in reference to more iconic lines.
I know.
That's the entire point.
It's
and
just
I mean,
so
games
weird.
do this all the time. The retranslations
yeah,
of
but
Final
that
Fantasy
doesn't mean
IV.
they should, and that doesn't mean it would be good if they did, and that doesn't mean I would like it if they did. So I'm going to say they shouldn't. In this case, I think the script was bad, and I think the iconic lines were also bad.
No, I think "You're not even good enough to be my fake" hits hard.
The reason lines get memed on in Sonic games is because they're terrible lines. That damn fourth Chaos Emerald was a terrible line. It jumped out at you and smacked you in the face.
We're not talking about the same tier of line.
Yes, we are. We are absolutely fucking are.
I disagree. I don't.
How can you not think this is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me? Anything short but cinematic masterpiece.
Talk about low budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here.
I love that line. That line's great. Why would they change that line?
Look, some variation on that line would be nice. I'm just saying, don't use the exact line in the exact same way, okay? That's all I'm saying. Those lines are based on the original English script that I'm talking about. Like, say something similar in the same spirit, but better, okay?
Essentially, the image of Lewis getting to the remake and to keep the lines like, "God damn it!"
I probably would. That would probably be my live tweet to Blue Sky. I almost said Twitter, but I'm not on there. Well, I kind of am, but I'm not posting there anymore.
I haven't looked at Twitter in 2 weeks, and I feel like a new man. Oh my god.
I'll
Do you know
never
how
look
free I
back.
feel? It's almost like when I quit playing Sonic the
I'll
Hedgehog.
never look back again. But like, I keep accidentally tabbing over to X on my like browser tabs and half typing out a tweet and then realizing, wait, this is in dark mode. Wait, I see something really combative on my feed right in front of my face. This isn't
Jesus
Blue
Christ.
Sky. Oh no. And then I have to copy and paste my tweet over to Blue Sky.
Yeah,
I think that's just ADHD.
Kids, your Twitter accounts, throw it all away.
you live and you learn.
Yeah. All hail Shadow.
All hail Blue Sky.
Have a good night, everybody.